Shalom Aleichem, everybody. Hope all is well. Very interesting question we see is the idea of the end times, the end of days in Judaism. How does that exist? Is that a Jewish idea? Does this idea exist? In a sense, this does exist. This is the term used in Hebrew as Ketz HaYamim, the end of days, or the edge of days. And this means, in truth, this is not actually the end of days. Rather, it's the beginning of the new days of reality and the end of days as we know it. It's beautiful, but what does this all mean in reality? So first we have to understand that the world we know it now is not the way it's supposed to be. Since the sin of Adam, the world is experiencing a hiddenness, a concealment of godliness. Before Adam and Eve sinned, the world was openly revealed with godly revelation. The whole world, Adam and Eve, fully felt God's presence. And since then, the world is now in a state of concealment. Hashem's presence is hidden. And now, I have to understand that there's been processes throughout these over 5,000 years, 5,781 years. There's been times where there's been godly revelations where it's sort of been a pause on this concealment, a little glimpse at what was there before, such as the giving of the Torah, such as, in the days of the Beis Hamikdash, when there was a godly revelation in the days of the temple, and the miracles that God has performed for us over the course of the past few thousand years. And of course, when a person learns Torah, they break that concealment when they make themselves aware of God's presence. But it takes work. In the world we know it now, it takes work to feel God's presence. Whereas before Adam's sin and in the days of Mashiach, there will be an automatic revelation of God without requiring work. Automatically, people will feel God's presence. So when we say the end of days, we have to understand that there's three main phases to the Messianic era. The first phase will be that the Mashiach will come. The Mashiach may already be here, but he will be recognized as Mashiach, as king, he'll take over the throne of the kingdom of David, and the whole world there will be peace in the world, and the temple will be built. And there's a few other requirements needed, but basically the whole world will come to know God's presence. Automatically now there will be a revelation of God just because of the fact that there will be a king of Israel and all the Jewish people will be united and return to God's ways. And the whole world, the Gentiles, the righteous Gentiles, will also be interested in God, as they already are, but it will be to an even greater degree. Now the Rambam says that this period does not have to have miracles. It could happen in a natural way or it could happen in a supernatural way. The main thing to understand is even though if it happens in a natural way, there will still be miracles in the sense because there will be the Mashiach who will be the greatest teacher of all time. He will teach Torah to everybody at each their own level, and he will be a prophet, and he will allow people to feel God's presence. So even if there's not open miracles at first, it'll still be miraculous in the sense that there will be the Mashiach teaching Torah to all the people. And not only that, he will build the temple. And what does the temple mean? The temple is not just a building. It is a place where God's presence radiates and shines throughout the entire world. So that itself is a miracle. That's the first era of Mashiach. Then the second era of Mashiach is when there will be the resurrection of the dead. That will, of course, be miraculous. And that will mark a new era in godly revelation where the world will experience a much greater revelation of God from that point onwards. Then there will be yet another era, the third stage in the Messianic era, and this is what is referred to Ketz HaYamim. If I'm not mistaken, there's obviously, Hashem leaves it in a mysterious way for us in a sense because he wants to surprise us. Just like when a parent wants to surprise a child, he may give him a little bit of details about the surprise, but he's not going to reveal all the details in order to allow the surprise to be so much better. So too with us with Hashem, we have some details, but this third era is generally what's referred to as Ketz HaYamim, and will be at the year 6,000. The year 6,000 will be the new millennium, and that is what is referred to generally as Hayom Shekulo Shabbos, the everlasting Sabbath, the day that will be fully Sabbath. That is the 8th day that Hashem is waiting for us. We have a 7-day cycle. In the days of Mashiach, there will be the 8th day. That will be the Ketz HaYamim as we know it. And what does Ketz HaYamim mean? The end of days. This is when the world Hashem will reveal a new era to the world, an even greater godly revelation than in the resurrection of the dead. And with that, we have to be excited, and we have to recognize that this is something very beautiful. And we are entering this era. We are entering the first stage of the days of Mashiach. from many Jewish perspectives, we have already passed the point of when the Mashiach come, meaning that at any point now, Mashiach could come. We've met all the requirements. All that the Lubavitch Rebbe says, all that is left to do is prepare to greet Mashiach, meaning all the work has been done, just like Shabbos. Everything's been done. The food has been prepared, the clothes, the showering, everything's been done. Everyone's prepared for Shabbos. All that's ready now is to greet the Shabbos, to bring it in. So too, we're all ready for Mashiach to come. Let Hashem bring him forth. And the end of days, it is really the end of days as we know it, and the beginning of the true days of reality. And that will be when our bodies will go back to light, because as you know, or and or are the same word in Hebrew. It means skin and light. Now our skin is a skin of flesh. And in the third era of the third stage of the Messianic era, our skin will be light, skin of light. And God will reveal to us a very deep level. To say the least, it is this level that even Moses didn't merit to see, the level that Moses wasn't yet ready to have revealed to him. It is the godly pleasure, the pleasure that God experiences when we serve him. Hashem's greatest pleasure is when we serve him. And that is what he's going to reveal to us in the days of Mashiach. He's going to show us, he's going to let us feel the pleasure that he feels when we serve him. What an exciting feeling. Let us get ready. Let us spread this message with others. Let us bring Mashiach. God bless.